So I was talking to a friend recently and he told me this. He said that if he decided to kill himself, it would have a negative effect on everyone around him. As opposed to if he decided to pick himself up and work on being the best version of himself, then that would have a positive impact not only on him, but everyone else in his life. And this got me thinking. To be clear, I've never been suicidal in the sense that I've ever had a plan or intentions to actually execute anything, but I've definitely felt like, wow, if I could just disappear right now, I would definitely choose to do that. Or just the thought of I would prefer to never have existed in the first place. So more passive suicidal thoughts than active suicidal thoughts. I think a lot of depressed people have asked themselves this question: how do I justify my existence? Especially in the context of mental illness or just the difficulties of being alive. I think it's something that's helpful to think about and something that's helpful to solidify and maybe even write down and revisit every once in a while and ask yourself if it still resonates with you. One thing that's helpful is to bring purpose to the pain in your life. Pain is inevitable, right? Aside from dying, pain and suffering are pretty much the only two things that are guaranteed in your life. Sadness is pain, trauma is pain, grief is pain, rejection is pain. So you would think of pain as inherently negative, right? It's a difficult emotion to feel and one that we generally try to avoid. We spend our lives trying to maximize our happiness and our joy and our satisfaction and trying to minimize the amount of suffering that we feel. But because it is so universal, pain is one thing that everybody has in common. Humans are social creatures and we're built to feel empathy and we're built to connect to others. Pain is a really powerful way to do so. When you decide to be vulnerable with someone and share something that's been difficult for you, it helps us feel less alone, it builds trust, it builds bonds, and it fosters communication. And if someone else can relate to what you're feeling, then you can confide in each other and you can help each other. And there's something so profound and important about that. Just two humans being like, oh, this is how I'm hurting and this is how you're hurting. And it's difficult for both of us, but at least we're going through it together, and at least I've gained a connection from having confided in you about this. I think in a way, every person's end goal to the kind of person they want to be or the kind of work that they do is some version of, I want to make the world a better place. And how I interpret this is lessening the suffering of others. And the way that I personally wish to do this is through my art, through the music that I make, through the writing that I do, through the YouTube videos that I produce. I want to educate people about mental health and wellness, and I want to be vulnerable about my thoughts and feelings and struggles so that other people who are also struggling can feel less alone and feel heard. And I want to make art that people can see themselves in. And these are things that I believe in, and these are things that are important to me because of the difficult things that I've experienced in my life. If I didn't struggle with depression or heartbreak or grief or vulnerability, yes, I suppose my life would be a heck of a lot easier, but I also wouldn't have anything to create art about. I wouldn't be able to relate to other people and their struggles. I wouldn't be able to cry at movies, which is true, by the way. I didn't cry at a movie until I experienced my first heartbreak. And I wouldn't have felt the full range of emotions that are part of the common human experience. Negative and painful emotions are just a part of life, and I think it's important to express them and be open about it so people know that these are normal and very human things to experience, and that it's okay to be struggling because everybody is in their own way. The other mode of thinking that I like to use is using the metaphor of life is a game, and everybody is dealt a set of cards, and these are your given circumstances that you have no control over in your life. Who your parents are, where you grow up, your socioeconomic status, what you look like, things like that. And of course, some people are dealt better cards than others, but nevertheless, you have to take these cards and go out and do the best you can with them. And for me, the challenge is taking these cards and getting to a place in my life where I can freely pursue my passions. Music and performing and acting and content creation. And because these are things I truly love and feel so strongly about, I have a pretty significant motivating factor. And I feel like as I get older and I achieve more and I learn more, that throughout time I've slowly gotten a little bit closer to my goals. And of course, this mode of thinking has a certain level of privilege in the sense that like I know what I want in my life, which I know is not the case for a lot of people. And I also know that my desires are not necessarily permanent. Humans are vessels of change, and I fully acknowledge that I might want to take a different direction or pursue something else at any point because I am young and I'm exploring and I'm constantly discovering new things. But if you don't know what you want, it's perfectly okay. People spend their entire lives trying to figure out who they are and what they desire out of life. It's not anything you have to rush. You don't have to push yourself into anything. All you can do is take the information that you have and whatever experience you've had in your life and then just do your best. And eventually, whatever path you go on, you'll find yourself along the way. And I think it's important to note in this case, the very stereotypical, it's about the journey, not the destination. And so life is a game, but it's not about necessarily winning or losing. It's about the adventures you have along the way and the people you meet and the things you learn, all that stuff that everyone's heard before. I hope this video inspired you to do some soul searching or maybe gave you a new perspective. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.